Hello and welcome to This Week in Atheism, brought to you by the Center for Atheism. I'm your host, Dennis Horvitz. This Week in Atheism is a commentary panel discussion concerning articles taken from The Focus, which is the email newsletter of the Center for Atheism. If you would like to receive a copy of The Focus, just use the contact information, which should be scrolling up on your screen. I want to introduce my guests, my panelists. On my right is Janine. On my left is Mason. Thank you for joining me. We never run out of church and separation of church and state issues to discuss, and we have a couple here. The first one I hope to make light of. We'll try. This is actually, not unsurprisingly, or unsurprisingly, this particular article is from the Associated Press, and it's entitled, Georgia Lawmaker, 2010 Should Be the Year of the Bible. We were having a discussion before the start of the show, and this year that we're taping this, 2009, is the year of the ox. So it depends on what religion, what superstition you have.
I'll take an ox over the Bible then.
But some people will take an OxyContin.
Ooh, we don't want to go.
Very bad. I'm surprised Mason is still with us.
And then they take the Bible.
He's been so disgusted with me for the last 3 shows. But you're hanging in there. You're hanging in there. In any case, I'll just read some of this. We have a couple of articles here basically dealing with different approaches to the same issue. A Republican House member wants President Barack Obama to make 2010 the year of the Bible. There's no sign that Obama will get the chance in the foreseeable future. Georgia Representative Paul Brown, B-R-O-U-N, Paul Brown's resolution would have no force of law if passed.
More good use of taxpayer money.
And you think he was trying to impress somebody? And it can't be passed unless majority Democrats who referred it to a committee to bring it to the floor for a vote. Well, referring it to a committee, basically, it's dead. It's over.
Go to die. Right?
But I'm gonna read part of what the resolution says. I'm quoting: "The president is encouraged ... to issue a proclamation calling upon citizens of all faiths to rediscover and apply the priceless, timeless message of the Holy Scripture, which has profoundly influenced and shaped the United States and its great democratic form of government," which includes the First Amendment, "as well as its rich spiritual heritage, and which has unified, healed, and strengthened its people for over 200 years, end of quote.
New Testament or Old Testament year?
No, this is the testament of Georgia Representative Paul Brown.
Probably New Testament. So all the Jews can get up in arms.
It might be the Woodworker's Bible.
The Woodworker's Bible, or
Fisherman's Bible. I mean, there's a lot of them.
you know I'm going to say
There's
it.
the physician's desk reference.
You
They
know
call
it's
that the
coming.
Bible?
Yeah.
You know what's
No,
coming.
let's just leave them out of this show.
There is yet another Bible, which
There's a lot of Bibles.
yeah. I mean, so which Bible are they talking about? Talking about the King?
Well, it's a capital B, so.
Yeah, but is it the King
Bible.
James capital B, or is it the new standardized version, the Good News, Bad News Bears version?
Yeah, on the one hand, you want people to be able to bring up things that they believe in, but on the other hand, a lawmaker should know when something runs, afoul of the Constitution to save everyone a lot of time.
Right, except that if the lawmaker knows that his or her constituents don't really know or care what's in the Constitution, and think that what they want and should be is a fact just because they want it to be a fact.
So you're saying he's pandering to this?
Oh, I wouldn't.
That would be shocking.
I wouldn't say that.
Why? I mean, why doesn't he just go be a minister if that's so important?
Well,
Leave the law making the law, people.
But the thing is, if his constituency doesn't really know or care what the difference is, then he's in effect acting as a minister
He's in
the
Georgia.
American. Yeah. But I have to say, before we dump on states below the Mason-Dixon line, and we're certainly going to. But there is I'll finish the rest of the article in a second, but there is a surprisingly emergent atheist movement in the southern states. The Alabama atheists, believe it
So
or
the
not.
Northerners moving down.
It's plural?
That's absolutely.
They have
And yes, you did make a good point. There are a lot of Northerners who are moving into the South, but there are also a lot of people who were born and raised in the South who didn't have a voice before.
Right.
And whenever the chance comes up, I always give a shout out to Blair Scott, who is who is the American Atheists regional director. I think, or former regional director, I think, of the American Atheists Alabama chapter. So if you're seeing this on the internet, Blair, just want to wave and say hello.
Good job.
In any case, and it's practically because of Blair and a few other people in other states that the atheist voice have, that just says study the Bible online, earn a
Degree
degree
in
today. Well, I was ordained a minister in the Universal Life Church online. So in any case, but it's because of Blair and the Alabama atheists, which in a weird way, the South is almost the cutting edge of atheism in the United States. And if I didn't know the people involved myself personally, I would never believe it. But it's absolutely true. Alabama, I like to say Alabama atheists are my favorite atheists just because of that. Yeah. This guy Braun is from Georgia, and of course there is a strong element in Georgia that are trying to, teach creationism in class. But I think the Georgia legislature, there was some issue that the Georgia legislature would not pass that was contrary to the Constitution. This is last year, the year before last sometime. In any case, this Representative Braun said that the nation's values are based on those espoused in the Bible. Actually, there's nothing in the Constitution that refers to the Bible. The American system of justice and democracy is based primarily on English common law and Greek democracy. Oddly enough, there's no Greek in the Bible either. Go figure. I'm sorry, in the Constitution. There is a Greek version of the Bible. I'm sorry.
There is the values that are quote unquote in the Bible are really pretty much universal human values as far as.
That's right. That's right. But there's
to say that they were originated with the Bible kind of disrespects all preceding history.
In other words, they're lying.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
It's like saying that it's clearly based on the Bible because the Constitution is written with the same 26 letters of the alphabet that the Bible was.
And therefore.
Well, I guess we lost that one, didn't we?
To be clear.
Yeah.
But then if you think the world was created in 7 days, why not?
You were.
And in fairness, there
6
are
days.
people, religious people in the southern states that don't see it as part of their remit
Absolutely.
to trample on the constitutional rights of others.
That is
It's all
absolutely
good-natured
correct.
urban-
In fact, I had a website years and years ago that actually I posted, I think, a letter or an article about a Georgia state representative who was totally solidly behind separation of church and state, as one would
Yeah, I've
understand
seen
the
that
concept to be.
before,
I have also posted at one time an article written in a newspaper by a Nazarene, which is a Protestant fundamentalist group, and this guy was totally in favor of the teaching of evolution in science classes, and none of this, equal time thing. I mean, he was straight up. We have had as a guest, actually, at one of the New York City atheist meetings, we had an Episcopalian minister, priest, who also was totally in favor of separation of church and state. and the teaching of evolution in science class.
any-
So there are people in the South.
Reasonably educated religious figures should encourage the separation of church and state because it benefits them. That was the point, is to keep the state out of religion and keep religion out of the
Absolutely,
state.
because at the time of the founding of this nation, I think they were only 100 years away from the last European religious war, and that took a toll. And interestingly enough, I've read that one theory for why religious war stopped is due to the rise of mercantilism, and basically everybody was killing off their customer base.
Capitalism rules.
Capitalism rules. It's cynical to say that, but that's part of the reason. I mean, and
The worship of a new almighty.
worship
Yeah.
of a new filthy lucre. Yeah.
I just meant the dollar, but
Yeah. I just want to mention, for no reason, I personally went and saw, as long as we're talking about worship of a deity and all that, I saw Little Richard in concert last night, so I just think I should mention that. Has nothing to do with this. And in fact, Little Richard would probably be in favor of this guy, but no one's perfect.
Hallelujah.
Anyway, Braun said that the nation's values are based on those espoused in the Bible, and I'm quoting him again, "The National Year of the Bible resolution reminds us that our great nation was founded upon biblical principles, and that that religious freedom is guaranteed by the Bill of Rights," he said in a statement. The resolution has 14 co-sponsors. Interestingly enough, 1983 was designated the Year of the Bible.
The other year of
The other year of the Bible.
or is it the year of the other Bible?
It's like you turn to your right or to your other right. In this case, it's the religious right. But in any case, he says, "I encourage all citizens, each in his own way, to re-examine and rediscover its priceless and timeless message." Like they're not harping and screaming and yelling about God
Needs to be
and the
reminded,
Bible in
right.
every situation, appropriately or inappropriately, and like we need to.
What would they do? Would they hand out Bibles? Would they give you a Bible on your way to work? What would be the year of the Bible?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine if I think they can make it their year of the Bible. I don't see any reason for
You know what?
What does that even
my
mean?
year of
If the National Council of Churches wants to declare the year of the Bible, fine,
Can
wonderful.
we then have
Yeah.
the year of the dictionary?
Ba-dum-bum, hello.
Well, seriously, people should read the dictionary
The-
more and
well,
well, less.
funny you should mention that, because in another article,
Completely unplanned.
put up by on onenewsnow.com, which is a division of the American Family News Networks.
Anything with the word family in it.
Yeah,
Code for something.
And anyways, it basically covers the same thing, but it says that none of the bill's current co-sponsors are Democrats, but they are not the only opposition Brown faces. According to Politico.com, congressional Jews and atheist activists are dismissing the resolution. Congressman Barney Frank from Massachusetts, a Jew, mocked the idea by asking, "Does that mean 2009 is not the year of the Bible? What is 2012 the year of? The Quran?" I think it should be the year of the flying spaghetti monster, the Pastafarian Bible.
maybe the year of the all-you-can-eat buffet.
The year of the all. It certainly it strikes a more religious chord with me than.
Maybe after we get the healthcare situation.
After you think.
We probably don't
Maybe
want
it could be the year of the healthcare
fewer
fix.
all-you-can-eat buffets for the time being.
Well, yeah, healthy,
And don't
low
even
fat,
think about taxing my
high
sugared
protein.
Coke. I want to tax my sugared Coke. Apparently, if you drink Coke, you're automatically obese, and I resent that.
Well,
Sorry, I digress.
but on the other hand, under those circumstances, you get to be an automatic heretic too,
I don't want to pay more money for my Coke. Period.
Okay. In any case, however, many atheists are not bothered by Braun's efforts, citing the latest Pew Forum survey, which says non-religious Americans are the fastest growing demographic.
Yay.
One atheist, and I don't really know who this is, and I know most of the atheists in this country. One atheist believes what he calls, quote, "this kind of old-style George W. Bush republicanism," unquote, "will soon die out." I hope you're, whoever you are, and I wish you'd contact me, by the way. I hope you're right. Representative Gerald Nadler of New York says he is not against the Bible or the resolution, but simply believes the bill endorses religion, and adds that the federal government should stay out of such matters. Well, for the federal government to stay out of such matters, it should not entertain, listen to, much less pass the resolution. And here's the standard lie. Brown claims the bill actually has nothing to do with Christianity. He is simply urging Americans to return to the biblical foundation that he contends established and built America.
Which would, of course, be Christianity.
Yeah, of course.
Because we all know how much the Muslims contributed to the Constitution.
I have an idea. If they set out a committee not to decide on 2010, but for the next 20 years, let's just lay out what each of the following years will be.
Maybe
2011 will be the year of no God.
Left-handed people.
Yeah.
I want a year for left-handed people.
Right. That'll
Sorely overlooked.
notice, did you, by the way, did you get a shot of our library?
Unfortunately, it'll end up just spending more money, so that's probably not a good idea.
But you know, right. On the other hand, if we could work, if better they spend it on that than funding Blackwater. You know,
That's beyond the purview of this show.
that is
Yeah.
beyond the
That's
purview of this. I'm sorry.
Scope creep.
Because
I
that
would
could keep me up all night.
withdraw the statement. In any case, as long as we're on the subject of wasting money and misspending funds, in the Richmond Times-Dispatch, there's an article. It was an article published entitled "Group Asks IRS to Review Liberty's Tax-Exempt Status." The Liberty they're referring to, of course, is Jerry Falwell's Liberty University. There's a group that Americans United for the Separation of Church and State has asked the Internal Revenue Service to review Liberty University's tax-exempt status because the university revoked recognition of a student-run Democratic organization. And the reason for doing that is because according to this article, in the Americans United for the Separation of Church and State, Liberty University, which describes itself as the world's fastest-growing evangelical university, revoked its recognition of the Democratic Club because it said the goals of the Democratic Party are contrary to the university's conservative principles. It cited particularly the Democratic Party's abortion rights stance. Now, Liberty University has a Republican club and has had one for many years, and that club continues to receive recognition. And Barry Lynn, who is the executive director of Americans United for the Separation of Church and State, he noted that political clubs recognized by the university are eligible for funding through student activity fees. However, as a tax-exempt institution, according to Lynn, Liberty is barred from interfering in elections or showing preference for one political party over another. That's what Lynn wrote in his Barry Lynn wrote in his letter to the IRS. He said, by banning a Democratic club while permitting a Republican club to exist and offering funding to the latter but not the former, university officials appear to be operating in violation of federal tax law. Yeah, I would say they appear to be. I would say they are. The university did not respond to a request for comment, at least to the Richmond Times-Dispatch, but the Associated Press reported that Matthew Staver, who is the dean of the Liberty's Law School, called it a frivolous, quote-unquote, frivolous complaint, and the school has not banned the club, which can still meet on campus. That wasn't just the closing of the club wasn't the point. The closing was the point was the withholding of funds and favoring the Republican club. Oh, you know, I mean, they always prevaricate about stuff like that. Typical.
I admire the whoever is in that Democratic club, because that would take a lot of nerve to
Right.
be at Liberty University and
Right. And
name yourself as a Democrat.
And, well, the article goes on, well, I'll get to in a second. They're not exactly liberal Democrats in any case.
So.
You know, But this guy Matthews, dean of Liberty's Law School, which was the school started by Jerry Falwell and is run by his son Jerry Falwell Jr. Matthew Staver, the dean of Liberty's Law School, said Americans United simply doesn't know the facts of the case. They are finalists to promote their own fundraising agenda and goals, which is frankly disconcerting. I think Matthew's disconcerted by anyone who can be tracked on a CAT scan, basically. Knowing anything is kind of like a threat to them, you know. You may have gathered, by the way, if you just tuned in, we're not exactly in an objective position here. But in any case, that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Jerry Falwell Jr. said that, of course, the position has been misconstrued. And again, the university, according to Jerry Falwell Jr., the university has not banned Democrats from campus, nor has the Democrat Club been banned from meeting. And never I have said that a person cannot be a Christian and a Democrat. Liberty University will not lend its support to a student group that advances causes contrary to its mission.
Which would be a Democrat.
Liberty stands for certain core values, not for political party. Fine, but when you're getting taxpayer money, you got to conform to certain standards. You don't want a Democratic club? Don't have a Democratic club, but don't take our tax money, basically.
Well, and
Bottom
don't
line.
have a
I think
Republican
that's
club
fine.
either, I mean.
Yeah, don't have the, well, but I mean,
Well,
they can have it that way. If they're not taking taxpayer money, they can have a Republican club and no
Well,
Democratic
I don't
club.
think they're taking taxpayer money, they're just not paying taxes, I think, right? Tax
Well,
exempt.
I think you're right, yeah.
I'm sorry,
So-
that's correct, but it is kind of in an adverse
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
way.
yeah.
If you're not paying taxes.
I don't understand why they're tax exempt anyway. It's
Uh,
just brainwashing
Yeah,
and
I don't see
proselytizing.
any problem with the universities
That's right.
to take a political stance. That's entirely their right, but it puts them, it categorizes them as a different type of institution, one that is not entitled to tax-free status.
Right, and in any case, as far as this blog goes, this opinion piece, again, there were some reader responses, reader reactions, and it says here, the tax code prevents churches from becoming a political platform. Jesse Jackson Church and Al Sharpton's Church have walked a thin line, which they have, and they have been warned. They've been warned by their
Same position.
that's why this organization can't back a political candidate. We can't tell people not to vote. You can only discuss, you can only say what the issues are and have an opinion about the issues, but you cannot, in any case, according to this reader, the IRS code is very clear, and you can't be tax exempt, and it doesn't, a club on campus is not recognized. That kind of it interferes with their tax exempt status. Well, should interfere with their tax exempt status. So, but on the other hand, and I've got to read this because it wouldn't be any fun if I didn't. We have someone else who posted, why then do you have to take tax exempt status from every single Liberty University, public or private, and that's most across the nation, that refuses to allow a pro-life club on campus or a Christian club because it violates the school's discrimination code to require sexual purity?
Is it private
Sexual
campus?
purity! I sound like Little Richard. For example.
Is that true? What does that even mean?
Uh,
Most
try
of
to
these
follow that.
universities are private. They're not tax, I don't think any university is tax exempt except this one. Universities are?
yeah.
I take that back.
But you want to bet that this person has done no research whatsoever and knows who's getting what for, what kind of tax money. Let me see. Liberty is right and the law is behind, and the IRS will do nothing and can do nothing because liberty is perfectly within its legal right to require the clubs to clear to the Liberty's Christian mission or not use the LU name. Simple as that. I mean, there's. What do you really feel? That's what my question. What are you really feeling? Some of these sputtering responses are so incoherent that I can't even read them, and But here's one that's very well thought out. In answer to that first post, it's well within liberty's rights to do so. That is, favor one club over another, but it's also within the legitimate authority of the IRS to collect taxes on the profits it generates. Liberty is far from being a simple Bible college or a place of religious study. It's a money-making political machine. So and someone else goes on to say that the whole attitude is totally unchristian.
Which attitude?
The attitude of, it says Falwell's crew is the most unchristian Christian group around. What would Jesus do? For starters, he'd probably vomit at the thought of the Falwell's representative. Okay. All right. Someone said that. Someone else said the chickens have come home to roost.
This one seems pretty
cut and dry, I think.
Clear cut. Tax exempt comes with requirements. And
How do they get to call themselves a university, I wonder? I'm sure they don't teach the essentials of education.
I don't know. Isn't that interesting? I wonder if there is a legal
Well, they
definition.
might.
I wonder if there's a legal definition of university. I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know.
Science? I mean, science would have to be part of a university curriculum, wouldn't it?
Well, it all depends.
No, I mean not necessarily.
Not necessarily, no.
All about literature. And
But I guess under those circumstances, you can teach absolutely anything and call it science.
yeah, no, I didn't realize that
I don't know.
any educational institution is tax
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know that.
exempt.
We are an educational institution.
But I mean,
Right.
any all
private
universities
university?
are tax exempt.
Generally, yes. As long as you're not for a profit. If you're for a profit organization, you're not.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you're for a non.
Oh, okay. Well, that
Right,
makes sense to me. But right,
So,
and,
right.
but there's certainly
So it's
there
more
are,
about being a nonprofit business than being a university per se.
Right. In any case, we have come to the end of another edition of This Week in Atheism. I want to thank Janine and Mason for joining me this week. You've been watching This Week in Atheism. I've been your host, Dennis Horvitz. Please join us again next week where I'm sure we will completely smear and distort many, many other articles pertaining to atheism. Thanks for watching and join us next week.